Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Ask Pastor Keith. Pastor Keith, how are you doing today?
Doing fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fine too as well. Well, why don't we get to our question?
Okay.
One of our followers sent this question. It says here, what are the main types of sermon preaching styles? Is one better than the other? And why does COS mostly do topical sermons and not exegete the text?
Yeah, Church of Southland in
Church of Southland,
right? Yeah.
COS, Church of
Okay.
Southland, yes.
Yeah. So, basically, there are many sermon, styles out there. Basically, topical or thematic, or the expository preaching, and then there's different styles of allegorical teaching. And following the liturgical calendar, seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
So all those things are out there, and there are more. But largely, this person is asking about expository preaching versus topical preaching. And the person used the word exegete. And there's a tool that pastors use, preachers use, is exegesis and hermeneutics. Exegesis is taking down and parsing the words and all that and know what the text itself is saying, what information it has. Hermeneutics is how do you apply it, interpret it, the theory of interpretation, putting in the context and all that. So that falls right in with our understanding of a historiogrammatical approach. So historically sound and grammatically sound understanding of the text itself. So must be a new person to our church. We've been doing expository preaching for, I don't know, good 10 years. We went through Genesis and Gospel of Mark, Luke, Book of Acts, Ephesians, and so on and so forth. Is any type of preaching better than the other? I don't think so. It has advantages and weaknesses. One of the weaknesses of expository preaching is it takes so long. For us to go through Genesis, I think it took us like 3-4 years. Yeah. And some people want some different types of preaching in the middle, so you have to put up breakers in there. So we did a topical to kind of give a break, and then we went back to like Book of Acts. I think we broke it down many different ways and do that. Topical preaching, advantages of topical preaching is sometimes things happen in the news and the world events. And people have a lot of questions and things that we can address it right there. In fact, Paul's letters are mostly like that, answering to a certain question or occasion and things like that. Allegorical preaching, we kind of try to stay away, and some evangelicals look at it as really bad. Roman Catholicism, they call homilies, that's sermons in the Mass. They often use allegorical. Usually, as evangelicals, we stay away from it, but even Paul uses allegorical understanding of the text from Abraham's wife Sarah and Hagar, and he explains allegorically stands for the law of grace. What is a law? Yeah, law versus grace and promise. So all those things are explained in that way. So not one type of preaching is much better than others, but currently in Church of Southland, and I'm looking at the retirement, and we have a successor pastors in place. So so we have 2 campuses that we multiply. So I'm going back and forth, like 2 weeks and 1 week at a time, and things like that. And because of this, it's very difficult to do expository preaching of one Bible. And so it's very difficult to share between the preachers of the same passage, and so on and so forth. That's one of the reasons that person might be asking that question. But we do quite often and go expository preaching. Expository preaching advantage is that you have a thorough understanding of that book. Okay. And the type of approach that we are using, we are more thematic approach, not just topical. Thematic, I say that because we have series of sermons in one umbrella. And so they have a more of a systematic theological understanding of that topic. Many times, expository preaching, you are kind of confined to that text alone. Right. And you cannot go too far, then sermon gets really long, right? So you just have to do that. And even in expository preaching, there's a verse-by-verse expository preaching. And at the same time, there is like topical within the expository preaching. So like chapter 1 of like Ephesians, rather than parsing every verse of it, and you get the main theme of that text and go exegesis and the hermeneutics in expository style, and to explain the word in that way. So all of them has advantages and disadvantages, and because of that, pastors usually mix them up, and depending on their particular context and the seasons and the congregation, what they're going through. So that's why we do that.
Right. Yeah. Well, that is a really great explanation for this question. And so thank you for submitting that question to us. And we encourage everybody to, if you're following the podcast, keep on submitting the questions and join us each week.
Yeah, so I just want to say we do this recording once a week, and we are about 50 questions behind. So please be patient with us. And I don't think I can ever finish it before I retire. So
no more questions.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Bye.